crest of the wave that we broke upon and pulled you back into the sea, all the way down. Why'd it take all our life to explain that it's more beautiful when you're here? I remember the light when it turned around and revealed all the truth, no escape. Point blank. Say it like it is this time for me.
Hi friends! I'm back in Finland in my apartment in Turku in about a month now. For the past few months I've been in the biggest reading slump I have ever been. I don't think I've ever really experienced reading slump before. I don't know, my head's just been really busy with other things and I couldn't focus on reading, and still I seem to grab my phone much easier than a book, but I've been trying to get back to reading, and yesterday, after a really long time, I read almost half of this book in one go. Like I marked how much I read. I just started reading and the story got so interesting that I just couldn't put the book down, but I read that big chunky part almost in one go, but well, in one day. And yeah, I'm really proud of myself for like reading that much, because the first half of the book has taken me pretty much the whole month to read, because I started this book pretty soon after I arrived back to Finland. And just now I finished Pride and Prejudice, and ooh, I was expecting this book to be a bit more dry or even boring. I don't know, I always wanted to like Jane Austen, and this is the first book I ever read from her. Because I like the movies, I've seen pretty much all the movie adaptations from the books. But I don't really remember so much about them, and I was happily surprised how grabbing this story was, like so interesting and so well written. Like I totally understand why people hype about Jane Austen's writing style, like especially like writing romance. Like it's just very beautiful, like really beautiful, very well written and translated. This is pretty new edition, new translation in Finland. And what is funny is that I've been to Bath to the Jane Austen Museum before I read anything from Jane Austen. So now I finally feel like I can talk about that trip. Feel like yeah, I'm a Jane Austen fan. I feel like I was before I even read any of her books, and now I'm definitely looking forward to reading more from her. Back in Finland, navigating a lot of different feelings about the relationship that ended and my time increase in general, and don't want to go too much into detail with that, but yeah, I'm back here, back in my old life in Turku. I still have my tiny house, and I tried to film a tour, but I haven't edited it yet, so I'm not quite sure how it turned out. While I was filming, I felt a bit off filming it, so I will see if there's any materials I can actually use, or maybe I will refilm it. And I will definitely be spending some time there this summer. So hopefully I get to film some vlogs in the countryside as well. But for now I'm really happy that I got that excitement to read again. I have a lot of books that I put together yesterday that I kind of want to get to this summer. But I'm gonna just spend a chill day. Maybe I will start a new book. This whole pile is kind of like my summer TBR, but it doesn't include everything I would wish to read, and this is kind of very optimistic goal, like no way I will probably finish all of this. But to be fair, there's quite many like really short books that could just only take like a day to read, really. But that's the current TBR. Good evening. I thought I will quickly tell you what I started reading today after I finished Pride and Prejudice. I started reading this book that I got a few years ago from like a local thrift shop. It is Hungarian like folk tales, so like Hungarian children tales, and I read a few of them, maybe 3 of them so far. It's kind of like the same story repeating, and they all seem to end pretty much the same way, when the guy gets the girl and they live happily ever after, and some of them just don't make any sense. It's a very short book, so I think I'm gonna read all of the stories slowly and then donate the book forward. Maybe someone else will enjoy them more. Anyway, that's the first book I started, but then I went for a walk. On the walk I started this book that is Tove Ditlevsen. I think it's translated youth. So it's 3 books actually, and I read the first one I think the beginning of this year, and it was called Childhood, and then there's Youth, and then there's Adulthood basically. So it's 3 books. I don't know if auto-fictive is a word in English, but that's how it describes here on the back. I'm guessing like it's her writing about her own life but adding a bit color. Like the reader is kind of left guessing which part I'm completely through and which parts are exaggerated quite a bit. But I really loved the first book. I think I gave it 4 stars, almost 5 stars. The way this writer describes things, it's like so beautiful. Like the way she comes up with stuff, like how she just takes a everyday object or event and how she describes it in such a like lyrical, poetical way. I found very beautiful. I haven't seen it so much in this one as I did in the first, but I'm still enjoying this one. The only thing is that it basically continues straight away from the first one, and because I read the first one like some months ago, I don't exactly remember every character or like people in this book, and it doesn't really go back to the childhood part at all. Just mentions here and there. I was like, oh yeah, like this person was connected to that one, and yeah, but it just kind of continues as you would read it as a one big book, I feel like. So I was thinking maybe I need to reread the first one before continuing this one, but I don't know, it's such a short book and I feel like I'm getting the grasp of it anyway. Like the more I read, the more I remember what happened in the first one, so I think I'm good. And then I have the last one of like this 3-book series. These are the 2 books I am currently reading. I'm also still listening the Patti Smith Just Kids, the audiobook. Been enjoying it slowly. It's my 2nd time listening to it, so I'm not like rushing through it, and it's definitely getting 5 stars this time because I think I gave it 4 stars last time. Me and my friend who have a little book club, we will probably soon choose our next read for the book club, and that will give me something else to read as well, which is not on my TBR yet, and the TBR was quite long. But it's not like set in stone. Is that the saying? Set in stone? Carved in stone? Set in stone sounds correct. I am just going to bed, and I think I will be reading a bit before going to sleep. even this story, like it started like once upon a time there was a city. In the city lived a rather rich man with 3 daughters, and one count was his best friend. And then they're basically probably gonna marry off the count to one of the daughters, I'm pretty sure, and they will live happily ever after. That's how it's gonna end. Which is fine, but they're like so similar, the stories. I was expecting more like, I don't know, like funky kind of folklore. This is one day the father asked the 3 children, the daughters, like how much they love him. So the story basically goes like, the father asked the first child, how much do you love me? And the daughter replied, oh, like gold. And then the father asked the second daughter, how much do you love me? Oh, like silver. And then the third one, the favorite one of the father's, which is already, yeah, like, anyway. She says that she loves him like salt, like pure white salt. And then the father gets really mad and throws him on the streets. Okay, because she didn't give an explanation what she meant by that. She loved him like salt, because apparently it was cheap, the salt, so you know, bye bye daughter. And then there's always like see, it's described how she was wandering in the forest all alone 3 days and 3 nights, and then there's always like an old dude or an old lady helping people out. Like they always just randomly find them in the forest, in a house, or randomly just walking there. And they always were like, oh, come, I have something for you, or I will help you out, come and take my advice, or something like this. And I'm only in the 2nd page, and we already established all of that. Like, already the old lady found her in the forest wandering, and she's like, oh, I can help you. Literally still on 2nd page here. The old lady advises her to walk all the way to the count's castle, where they will capture her, but not to worry. He has a son who will marry her, and obviously that will solve all of her problems. I'm guessing. That's how these stories go. Maybe I should just DNF this book. Guys, 2nd page. And then, obviously, the count's son met her and immediately fell in love, and it's now wedding on the page 3. They're getting married. And the girl's father was invited and offered soup, but no salt was to be found. And then he realized that he couldn't simply possibly get along without salt in his life. You can see where this story is going, what the lesson is. This story was literally 4 pages long, and the last page here, it's just saying how the father was complaining how he realized that how wrongly he was to throw her daughter outside, you know, and he realized the meaning of salt, and then the count and his son and daughter came to talk to him. Oh, do you recognize this girl? And he was like, yes, of course, she's my daughter. And then they hugged and everything was good. Everyone was happy. And literally they lived happily ever after. Yeah. That was the story. It's a few days later and I don't quite remember if I told you that I finished the Pride and Prejudice and I really liked it. It was really good all the way till the end. I think it got even better towards the end. I mentioned that I started reading these like Hungarian folk tales, children tales, and they've been a bit ridiculous. It's not the best type of writing, but since I'm like halfway through already, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna keep on reading all of them and probably donate the book after. Then I also finished Tove Ditlevsen's Youth. I did really like the first book, the first part of this, and second one not so much. Like solid 3 stars, 3.5 probably. Few nice parts, the way she's been writing things, but it wasn't as much as I was hoping. Here's the third part. This one I'm liking a lot more already, but I'm still frustrated with the choices that she's making. Because I'm just like, how are you deciding all these things? I really like her writing styles and I want to read her like other books as well, like what she's written, because she is like Denmark's one of the most loved authors. It says on the back cover anyway. This is a pretty good process. By the end of the week I might have finished all of these, which is more than I've read in a whole last month almost. So I think I am slowly recovering from my reading slump. I still have many more interesting books that I'm really looking forward of reading. I think next week I will be going to my tiny house in the middle of the countryside, so I always find very inspiring to read there. That was a little update on my reading situation. Also, I wanted to do just like a tiny little bookshelf organization, because I got these like egg holders from my friend. I'm a vegan, so I don't need eggs anymore, but she had them lying around, so I just asked like, could I have them, because I saw a hack on Instagram where they put them like behind the first row of books and then they can lift up like 2 rows of books and you can see the titles a bit better like behind. You will see better what I mean once I've organized it. So I'm gonna try if that actually works and how it looks, because as you can see there's a big pile here that is currently not in my bookshelf, so I'm trying to fix that. So I'm thinking to put all of the red ones in the back so I can bring the unread ones to the front so I can access them a bit easier, but they would be out of the pile here and more in the bookshelf. So I'm gonna do that now. I don't know how I like it. I think we could have been a bit, the books on the back could be a bit higher to see them better, especially because it's in the last like shelf, the top shelf. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it like that for now. It's the next day and I just quickly wanted to say that I just finished the last part of this book series, and I think I was more impressed of the afterwards that another writer has said about the 3 books, and specifically about this one and about the author's life. I wish I would have read that first. Then again, it would have been a bit of a spoiler, but that the afterwards made me think more about what the writer wanted to say in these 3 books, and especially in the last one. So I don't know, that made me like this even more. But it was good. I feel like this, especially the last 2 books, but the whole series really is a series that requires some time to sink in, and maybe a reread at some point. Definitely I want to read this again, perhaps when I'm a bit older. I would recommend, I do believe that they are translated into English. I'm still middle of all the other books I've mentioned, but hopefully we'll finish the folk tale, children tale books today or tomorrow, because next week I'm thinking to go into the countryside, so I try not to take that book with me. I wish I finished it before, so I don't have to drag it all the way there, and I can bring some other new books that I haven't started yet. And just now I am gonna go to this I don't know what to call it, like a yard sale kind of event. So I have some old clothes and a few books that I'm looking forward of selling, so hopefully someone will buy something. At this moment I wish I don't find anything nice to buy. I know there's gonna be, but I'm just gonna close my eyes a bit, trying to focus on just going there to sell my stuff that I don't need anymore.
Ensimmäinen luku. Lumihankien hevonen. Täällä erämaassa häntä ei kukaan ollut ihailemassa. Hänen kyyneleet kiusivat hänen selkänsä. Elisa nojasi otsaansa ikkunaan ja tuijotti ulos pimeään talvioon. Niin voimakas, että hänen oli laskettava katseensa hetkeksi. Heti sen jälkeen Uula arveli, että koska sinulla on kokemusta hevosista, saisin varmasti luvan ratsastaa hänen hevosen.
Alright. Earlier today I finished listening this audiobook that I will talk in a second. But before that I want to mention that I also went to this vegan picnic in Turku, and it was really fun. It was nice to meet other vegans, and I made a date cake. Yeah, like a little cake from dates. And I also made a Toscana cake, so like with like almonds on top. Now I'm back at home, and before I'm gonna start a new book, I think I'm gonna end this vlog here. But first I want to talk what I read during this vlog this week, and I finished actually quite a pile. All of this. 5 books. I won't talk too much about the books I've already talked about quite a lot on this vlog, but I'll just quickly mention all of them. So I finished The Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Was around halfway through when I started vlogging, and really like this one, so one of my new favorite book, and I definitely want to read more from Jane Austen. And then I finished this 3-book series. I read the first one back in January, and then I read the second one and the third one. I'm not 100% sure if they're translated to English, but pretty sure that they are. And the translations in Finnish would be childhood, youth and adulthood, but I know like the adulthood in the original language is called gift, so maybe that's the case in English as well. And we follow like her well, kind of like struggles throughout life, like her navigating wanting to be a writer, wanting to be a poet, and then like we get the like glimmer of hope that things will work out, but then like she's struggling a lot and she's jumping from guy to guy, from marriage to marriage, and then like in the last book she develops quite a strong like drug addiction, and yeah, she's navigating through that in the end, but quite interesting. My rating went down with each book, so I think the first book was 5 stars and this was 4 and this one was 3, but I don't know, like also could be a like 4, 3.5, but I'm glad to finish the whole series, and I might want to check out like her other books, or if she has like those poems translated into Finnish. So, and then of course the Hungarian folk tales, children's tales. I'm not sure, this book is not even on Goodreads, so I can't add it there. But I read the whole thing, even though I was thinking to DNF it for multiple times. The stories honestly weren't good. They were kind of boring and repeating themselves and really outdated. Of course, they are old stories, so can't really blame them for that, but let's just say that I'm really happy that they don't write the children's stories like this anymore. And I've read some like old children's stories and they've been good, so this one wasn't it. I was just rolling my eyes so many times while reading this. But it's done, it's read. I don't really have much to say about this, not much good in any case, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, and yes, goodbye. We'll be donating that one. And today I started and finished this very nostalgic audiobook. Gosh, what was this called in English? I think I have to check. Alright, The White Demon Horse, because in Finnish it's translated The White Ghost Horse. The reason why I listened to this audiobook is because I was part of this horse club when I was maybe 11, 12 years old or something. It was really popular in Finland, called Pollux. Not sure how to pronounce that. Very popular horse club, and each month you would get a box full of like little horse related items, like and books usually as well. Keychains, you name it, jewelry, wallets, posters, pens, pencil cases, all this kind of stuff that a 12-year-old girl would love in 2004. And I think it's kind of cute that I see now that they are doing these like book boxes that you get a book and a bunch of like accessories with the book that is in the box, and I've seen them coming popular, and you know, they were popular when I was young, so nice to see that again. In one of the boxes came this audiobook, and I remember listening to this, and it was so scary because the audiobook has like sound effects and music, so there was like this creepy music that would always play when the horse was near. And I remember liking the story even though I found it scary at the time, and I wanted to really listen to this because I found this at my parents' house. Like purely for the nostalgic reasons, I would still give this 4 stars, although it wasn't like so scary or so good as I remember. Like I was kind of expecting that, to be honest. But it was surprisingly good, I have to say. Like it was still scary, especially with the music. But obviously I watched all kinds of horror films since, and there's way scarier things nowadays than a demon horse. I'm so happy that I found this and listened to it. It was fun and reminded me of my childhood, and like it made me want to read more horse books. There was like one series that came from the box that I liked, but I don't remember what it was, and I've given up the books already. I wasn't a big reader when I was growing up, so every time I find a book I remember reading when I was young or a teenager, I'm like, oh, this is so exciting, because there's not many of them, and it would be nice to see what I think of them as an adult. So every time I do find a book like that, I'm so excited, and this was one of them. That was all I read this week. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!